Hi everyone, my name is Michael Finney, and the goal of this channel is to share the advice that I've gained over the years to help you grow and advance without having to make the same mistakes that I've made. Now, with this particular video, I wanted to share the lessons learned from successful business leaders that have become mentors to me. If you are just starting out in your career, I know how hard it can be, especially in these times. Coming out of Villanova University with my bachelor's degree, I was making $40,000 a year, which doesn't go very far when you have rent, student loans, car payments, and other normal living expenses. Thankfully, implementing these 3 pieces of advice, I was able to advance in my career to a point now where I'm making over 5 times that original amount. So before we begin, I just wanted to reference a line from the book The Oz Principle, and the book describes that there are 3 people in this world: those who watch things happen, those that wonder what just happened, and those that make things happen. So hopefully you find this information helpful so you can go out and make things happen in your own career. So the first piece of advice: make client centricity your top priority. And what do I mean by client centricity? Well, I mean quite simply putting your client first. So let me repeat. Client centricity means putting your client or customer first. It's not about what you want, it's what your client wants. And your job is to make sure the needs of your clients are met, and in fact, not just met, but exceeded. So as a quick story, I remember attending a conference and the guest speaker told us about a time when he was interviewing all of the partners at a major consulting firm. His last interview was with their top rainmaker, who was consistently bringing in $10 to $20 million in sales each year. He was asking this partner, "So, what is your secret?" Now, I should note that they were actually sitting in the cafeteria when he asked this question, and he said he could almost feel the cafeteria get quiet as all the other consultants leaned in to try and hear the answer. So to answer the question, the rainmaker reached into his jacket pocket and took out an index card with the top 3 objectives for each of his clients. So his secret was to always keep his clients' priorities and objectives top of mind. Each day he would review the card to make sure his project teams were helping the clients make progress against their strategic objectives. Now, to build upon that story, I want to talk about how your client doesn't just have to be someone external, but also could be someone internal at your own organization. Now let me explain. It's important to view your boss as an actual client. And by this I mean work to get your boss promoted. You'll find in your career when your boss gets promoted, they will actually fight for your promotion because you help them get promoted. So in essence, you are coming up the organization together. And in order for this to happen, you really need to build trust. Trust with your boss is key to getting promoted. To build this trust, look for ways to make your boss's job easier. Be proactive in taking additional responsibilities or tasks that are on your boss's plate. Try to think about what your boss will need next. Not only will this build trust, but it will also prevent from any micromanaging from your boss. Unless you like to be micromanaged, so then please ignore this advice. But honestly, if you show your boss that you are taking initiative, driving value, your boss will trust you and give you that freedom to work independently. So I mentioned the book The Oz Principle at the introduction of this video, and I wanted to quickly mention 3 interesting points that I really liked. The first one is that success will be found at the accountable actions and attitudes of individuals. 2, you will never overcome a hurtful past until you develop a present and future-oriented view of your own accountability. And 3, the book shares an interesting story about how Alexander the Great would order his men to burn their ships, saying, "We're either going home in the enemy's ships or we're not going home at all." And the point here being, envision the promotion you want, build that trust with your boss, and don't look back. Remember, take accountability to make client centricity your top priority. Advice number 2, plan ahead to get ahead. So what do I mean here? When you get up in the morning, don't just look at your phone and start reacting to emails using that as your to-do list. The issue with this reactive and really unstructured approach to managing your day is that urgent items may take priority over important items. Now, don't get me wrong, if your boss sends an urgent email, by all means, drop whatever you're doing and take care of that request. Please don't say, well, Michael said in this video I should. It won't help in your career. Here's what you can do. At the end of the day, or even before you go to bed, review your work tasks that still need to get done. Prioritize these tasks in order of importance as well as urgency, and then start to block off time on your calendar thinking about how long will each of these tasks take. Planning your day in advance will help increase your productivity by focusing you on the items that you really need to get done. Again, planning your day will help increase productivity by focusing you on the items that you need to get done. Next, take a step back and look at your schedule from a higher level. And what I mean here is to look out into the future, look over the next week or so, and think about the meetings you need to conduct in order to get your work finalized and approved. So working on deliverables, you always need to get feedback on the content that you are developing. So as an example, schedule review meetings first with your boss or other stakeholders. So you're setting internal deadlines that you're working to related to the materials you want your boss and other stakeholders to review. This isn't like school where you can cram at the end for studying for a final. You really need to have an iterative process which requires planning. So remember, plan ahead to get ahead. And the last piece of advice is communicate to connect. So funny story, I remember starting a new role at work, just finishing my MBA, and I was the most junior person invited to a very senior level meeting. In my mind, I felt intimidated by the senior leaders in the meeting and ended up not saying anything the whole time. I thought to myself, why would they want to hear my ideas since they have so much more experience than me? It turns out I was dead wrong. One of the vice presidents came up to me after the meeting and said, always have something to say in a meeting, otherwise you won't be invited to the next one. And that really hit me hard because I wanted to continue to join these meetings and learn from all their experience. Ever since I received that feedback, I now have at least one talking point, one idea, or one insight in my back pocket that I can bring up during the meeting to add value and drive the team's thinking forward. Speaking up in meetings is really important. It shows the leaders at your organization that you are involved, you came prepared, and you're invested in the success of the team. Leaders are always looking for different points of view and additional data points to connect and synthesize so they can come up with the best recommendation or idea for their clients. So I remember reading Ray Dalio's book, Principles, and he discusses this topic. Now, for those of you who do not know Ray, he is the billionaire hedge fund manager of Bridgewater Associates. In his book, he talks about at Bridgewater, they have a culture that supports a meritocracy of ideas. Ray explains it's not an autocracy where he just gives orders from the top and everybody falls in line. However, he also cautions it's not a democracy of ideas where the idea with the most votes wins. Rather, it's a meritocracy of idea where the best idea wins. So the lesson here is always share your thoughts and ideas in team meetings because you never know when you may have the best idea for the team. So let's recap. The 3 pieces of advice that helped me advance in my career are, number 1, make client centricity your top priority, plan ahead to get ahead, and 3, communicate to connect. So there you have it. Hopefully you could take this advice, apply it to your own career, and move up the corporate ladder faster than I did. If you like this video, do me a favor, click the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up to show me that you like the video. And remember, start today. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.